Now we will see how the student takes a subjective test. The student will have to log in to lovemytestonline.com with his login ID and password. So student will log in. So when the student logs in, it will show that the test is about to start. Now it is already 8:14. The test was set for 8:15 am. It starts in 45 seconds. All the other information and the detailed instructions for the student to start the test are given here. This red icon shows that this is a proctored test and the student has to verify his credentials by uploading his photograph. The student has to click launch. The student has to click launch and he'll be asked to take a photograph and upload the photograph. After that, the start button will be active. The time has already reached 8:15. That is why the start button is active. If the time has not reached 8:15, it will show that the time remaining is so many seconds or minutes. And when the time reaches exactly the scheduled time, the start button will be active and the student can get in. So here the student will be able to see the questions one by one. So you can go, select the answers, go to the next. And on the right side panel, the student can see the questions which he has attempted. So if you click few more, those will become green here on the right side, you can see. In the subjective questions, the student has the option to either type in the answers or there is an option to select an image and upload. Here the student can even use the equation editor to add an equation, and if it is difficult for the student to type in, especially mathematics and all, then the student can write on paper, scan that and select that image file and it will show this image is selected and upload the image. So this image will be available for the teacher for evaluation. Also you can see on the right side, student's video is running. The student knows that the teacher is monitoring, so he has to be careful about that. And here the questions which the student attended are marked in green. The one which is currently selected is in blue, which is not attended. You can see these questions are not attended, marked in light gray. The student can mark a question for review. So on the left side there is this review option. If the student has marked that question for review, it will be colored in yellow and the student can come anytime later and do that question again. It is easy to do in non-mathematics subjects. They can just type in the answer. In mathematics and sciences where equations are required, the student can either use the equation editor. We will give detailed guidelines for the student to use the equation editor. So for example, in this one you can just write, say, x square plus y square is equal to 45. Save. So that equation comes here. So similarly, student can write even complex equations, but it may take some time for them to do that. So there is option for them, as described before, to write on paper and scan and upload. If the student exit the test due to any reason, due to power failure or due to internet failure, then student can resume the test again. So when you resume the test, it will ask again to take the photograph and verify the credentials. The student will come to the same position where he has left the test and he can continue the test from there. So you can select few more, type the answers or upload answers. Uploading can be done in JPG, PNG or PDF formats. So when the student comes to the last question, the finish button will be active and the student can submit the test here. And now if the student tries to submit the test, it will give a warning that you have 8 questions left to attend. This will finish the test for you and you won't be able to continue to answer any more questions. You want to finish the test and submit. So the student can now go back and answer all the remaining questions which are not answered. He can go to the question which is marked for review, and there also he can change his answers or add his answers. And if the student tries to navigate to another page and search something and come back, the student will get a warning that you seem to have moved out of the test window. This is not acceptable. Your actions are being tracked and you could be debarred from the test. So the student should not do that. And how many times the student is deviating from the screen, those information is tracked and will be available for the teacher to take any corrective actions. When the student has attended all the questions, he can finish the test. Once the student finishes the test, he can go back to the dashboard or he can log out. If he goes to the dashboard, he can see that the status of the test has changed to finished. So now the student has finished the test and the subjective test taking part is over. If the teacher looks at his dashboard, he can see the status of the students who have taken test. Here you can see one student has completed the test and the status of answers also is given, and the teacher can see the camera view of the student while taking the test. At various intervals the photograph is taken, so teacher can track the students' actions from these pages. There are a few other options for the teachers on this page. There is an option to evaluate the answers. The evaluation option is for the subjective test, where the teacher will be able to see the answers submitted by the student. If the student has typed in the answers, those answers will be displayed directly. If the student has uploaded an image or a PDF file, those will be available for the teacher to view and do corrections and give his comments as well as give the marks to the student. And for every question, the correct answer and the answer submitted by the student will be displayed on the screen. The teacher can evaluate the answers and give the marks to the student. That way the evaluation process can be completed and the reports will be generated automatically.